Good afternoon, and welcome to Money Smart Week here at the City Treasurer's Office. We're happy to have you this afternoon. And before we take a deep dive into today's insightful session, there are a couple of important points to go over. First, we're excited to inform you that today's session is being recorded and will be available for viewing on both our Facebook and YouTube channels within the next 24 hours. If you are to encounter any technical difficulties during this live event, please don't hesitate to use the chat features to inform us, and we'll do our best in the back end to assist you promptly. Additionally, we invite you to actively engage with us throughout the session. Feel free to send questions and comments in the chat feature during the presentation. Welcome to today's session, Reentry Centers, Your Path to Success. Today's subject matter expert is here to focus on critical support services provided by the City of Chicago's 4 community reentry support centers. These centers empower returning citizens to rebuild their lives by offering a variety of services, including job placement assistance, mental health resources, quality affordable housing, and much more. We're honored to have today's guest speaker, Mr. Juan Cruz, project coordinator from the City of Chicago's Department of Family and Support Services. Mr. Cruz, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Juan Cruz, and I'm a project coordinator with the Department of Family and Support Services. So I would like to first thank the Office of the City Treasurer, Melissa Conyears-Ervin, City Treasurer, and Money Sparks Week for putting this event on. Well, I'm excited to be here during our Second Chance Awareness Month. If you didn't know, April marks Second Chance Month, and it's a nationally recognized. It's been nationally recognized since 2017. It's a time dedicated to raising awareness of the significance of granting individuals with arrest and conviction records the opportunity to rebuild their lives. So I'm glad to be here and to discuss the pathways to success through our reentry centers. But before that, got to do a little housekeeping and just go over what the Department of Family and Support Services offer. Next slide. So some of the contents here, we're going to talk about the overview, which is our mission. We're going to discuss our supports because we have a broad range of supports, and we're going to really dive into our community reentry support centers to show you how you can obtain credentials and getting back to successful reentry and connected to the right resources. Then we're going to have some Q&A at the end of this. Next slide. The department. So first of all, our mission. Our mission at the Department of Family and Support Services, we work working with community partners. We connect Chicago residents and families to resources that build stability, support their well-being, and empower them to thrive. Some of our department highlights. Department of Family Support Services is one of the city's largest social service providers. We're in every community, and we have an annual budget of over $632 million, including $25 million in bond funds. What does that give us, right? So we fund over 330 community-based organizations. So we have direct service and indirect services. So our indirect services is through our dedicated community-based organizations. And we issue over 1,600 contracts annually and invest about $415 million into Chicago communities each year. What does this provide? So then on our direct services, we have 6 community service centers, not to be confused with our reentry support centers, but our community service centers are 6, and they're regionally, and we have regional senior centers as well. At these locations, individuals can be assessed and receive in-person assistance from Department of Family and Support Services staff. Some of our locations are 10 South Kedzie. On the west side, we have the King Center, which is at 4314 South Cottage Grove. On the south side, we have the South Chicago site, which is on 8650 South Commercial, and we have Trina Davila, which is 4300 North. So we are geographically located where the services and needs are. And here's a picture of like all of our sites around the city of Chicago. So the Department of Family Support Services work with everybody from early childhood development, with our children's services, to our seniors and everything in between. We have domestic violence hotlines. We have human service delivery, which is in our community service centers. We have our senior sites. We have our workforce services, which I'm a program coordinator, and talk more about that. And we have our youth services as well. So if you have a youth that needs employment, we're going to have in Summer Chicago. I believe those applications are up. You can go out to our website and apply for those activities, those jobs, and those enrichment programs. So we have over 1,000 slots for our One Summer Chicago, and we look forward to everybody getting involved in that. So if you have children, friends, please take a look at the offerings that we have for our young folks. Next slide. Workforce service, our workforce service division. So in our workforce service division, the Department of Family Support Services Workforce Division is dedicated resources to coordinate workforce services that meets disadvantaged Chicago residents with unique needs. So we focus on the hardest to serve. The division is increasingly applying an etiquette, trauma-informed approach to delivering workforce services at the neighborhood level to advance healthy and supportive communities. Number of delegate agencies we have is about 51 that I currently manage with another program coordinator, and the number of program models we have is 4. So anybody that have been just involved in apply for these, right? So we have target populations that we work with, and so some of our program models are job, community resource centers, which I'll talk more in depth about. We have employment preparation and placement. We have industry-specific training. We have transitional jobs, which is a subsidized based, work-based learning program. And some of our priority populations, again, we work with some of the most vulnerable populations in Chicago. They can't fit in some of our other employment streams like WIOA. So our priority populations are homeless, individuals at risk of being homeless, residents with limited English proficiency, and again, our returning residents, individuals with arrest and conviction records. Next slide, please. So here is a breakdown of what those programs models entail. So again, anybody that's just as involved, that's program models. Again, we have with our delegate agencies, we work with employers that understand the background, and so that won't be an issue for applying for jobs. So again, we have employment preparation and placement programs. So this is a job readiness training to prepare clients to obtain and retain employment, and then support them on their journey from placement to and through at least 180 days of employment. So all of our core programs are really job readiness training. We understand that people have limited work experiences and then experience with interviews and job interviews. So we go through that with an intense intake assessment. And then from that, we develop a curriculum and an IEP with each client. And so another program model we have is industry-specific training. So industry-specific training is a high in demand. It's for high in demand industries with clear pathways for progressively higher skill and wage levels. So some of those areas of employment are hospitality, transportation, distribution and logistics, healthcare, and manufacturing. So what we do is look at what the labor market is forecasting as in-demand industries, and we try to customize those skills to meet the demand of the workforce. So another one is our transitional jobs program. This is a great program. We really started this in 2004 because, again, we wanted to give people with limited work experience an opportunity to have a job and maybe not succeed at it, right? But just try it out and see if they like it, right? And so it's a paid training program. And the goal of this program is to have some work-based, again, with some skill development as well, right? So we have the hands-on, and then we have the soft skills development, right? So the transitional jobs program provides a time-limited, subsidized employment opportunity coupled with intensive wraparound services and skill development to eligible job seekers who lack a competitive work history or knowledge of the workplace necessary to obtain employment. The subsidized component or our transitional jobs program combines real work experience, right? So we partner with employers and skill development to support services to help participants overcome substantial barriers to employment. And so what we want to do with that program again is it's a paid program, so people need money immediately, and so you get on-the-job training and you get paid for that, right? And so the goal is to get the skills up, and then hopefully from that, the employer sees it, the client sees it, and you can go on after that, which is unsubsidized employment. So we hope, and we see a lot of success in this program where you get that experience and then you have an opportunity to yes, we have a question there, right? Yes, we do, right? So our programs, we're going to talk about that more, about our IDs and birth certificates and certifications. Again, I just want to give you an overview of just some of the program models after you get those credentials to get into one of our workforce programs. The next one is our Community Reentry Support Center. So this is what we're going to talk about how you can really obtain your credentials, identification, job training, mentoring, family reunification through our Community Reentry Support Centers. So this is so we have 5. They mentioned 4, but we just included 5, right? So the need was so great that we added a 5th reentry support center located at on the west side, right? It's in Garfield Park. So our reentry support centers are central locations where residents with justice involvement can receive the advocacy and support they may need to transition back into their communities and the workforce. The services provide participants with job training and employment to move forward and succeed in life. Next slide. So so our centers, right? So we go in depth with our centers. So, they talked about our IDs and identifications, right? So this is open to anyone, right? Anyone that's just involved. If you just released, if you've had a arrest record when you were younger and you still have that on your record and it's hindering you from employment or obtaining housing or anything, you can come to our centers. So our centers are open to any justice involved resident above the age of 18 with an arrest or conviction record. You can connect with our reentry support specialists in your neighborhood and receive services that can help you transition back into the workforce and move forward in life. Our reentry centers provide critical support to returning citizens. You can discover the services they offer, from job placement assistance to mental health resources, and how they empower residents to rebuild their lives. So some of the services that they will have, or you can get referred to, are employment assistance. You can connect to reentry navigators. So we have people there with lived experience that don't just refer you, but definitely hold your hand and get you to where you need to be, right? So it's good to really talk to individuals that have walked that walk and are doing well and can really speak to that when they're working with this population. Education and training assistance is available, mentoring and support groups, access to emergency housing, food assistance. Most of our reentry centers have pantries on site, access to substance abuse and mental health counseling, strategies for presenting your criminal backgrounds to employers, information on sealing and expunging criminal records, and family reunification and child support assistance. Next slide. So how do you become eligible, right? So program eligibility. So our target population, again, DFSS provides workforce services to individuals facing employment barriers who are unemployed or underemployed, low income, and have limited work skills. Eligible individuals must be 18 years of age, City of Chicago residents, you have low to moderate income, and you're authorized to work in the United States, right? After you obtain your credentials, right? And so in addition, DFSS is focused on serving the following 3 priority populations. As I mentioned, the homeless, individuals or people at risk of homeless, limited English proficiency, and returning residents. Next slide. How do you get connected to our services? So anyone, again, uh, you can walk into one of our centers. We're going to show you where they're located at, or you can call uh, any of our community reentry support centers. After you call, it's going to be they're going to ask, they're going to do a little data or demographic information and services requested, right? So, what are your needs? Are you looking for an ID? Are you looking for your birth certificate? Are you looking for a job? Are you looking for housing? Are you looking for food? And so, we're going to do an intake and assessment, and then we're going to document that, but with our reentry coordinators. And from there, the client is screened and referred to one of our reentry navigators. Again, these are people who have lived that experience, went through the same walks that you're going in that journey, and has overcome it and been successful at it, right? And they want to share that and walk you through that same process. And so the navigation piece, you either going to have it internally within one of these centers. Of course, not everybody has everything, and if they don't have what you need at that particular facility, they can refer you out to a number of one of our other community-based organizations. From there, the reentry navigation will respond. So if you call and no one picks up, they're going to respond within 24 hours. From there, the reentry navigator will conduct the intake and access and develop a service plan for you. So again, if whatever you need. So again, if you need an ID, if you want our services and want us to work with you, then it's going to be an intake process, and you will be a part of that program, right? With one of our 5 centers. And again, to obtain anything that you need that we can get from everything from birth certificates again to IDs to emergency housing, food assistance, uh, school education, and work. From there, the participant meets a navigator uh, a minimum of once a month. And again, some of the pathways are uh, health and behavioral healthcare, SSI. We definitely want to connect you with SNAP and some of the benefits that you can receive, and your ID restoration. So I know somebody mentioned about the ID. So we have funding for that. I know right now the state, Secretary of State, is working to have people that's exiting the institutions to have their identification already. They used to just give you the bus card, so that's great to have that. But for folks that's already out and still need help, we do have funding for that. And again, from there, we can connect you to some of our other resources, which is housing. You can have transportation if you need bus cars to get to your next appointment. Employment again. So I mentioned some of the program models that you can definitely be eligible for, and just figure out what fits with you. They will work with you at our agencies to develop an employment plan that's structured for you. If it's financial literacy, they have opportunities for that, right? So we have curriculums for financial literacy, uh, and the navigator links participants to additional service for housing and financial support. So again, this is a one-stop shop. It's open to the public. It's open to anybody that's looking for services. Again, if you didn't think your pathway, that you can have a pathway for this, it is a successful program. We've been doing it since 2004, and we've had tremendous success with our reentry support program. So again, I'm happy that this is, again, the Second Chance Awareness Month. Uh, Congressman Danny Davis had made that possible in 2017. That was instrumental. And so, again, we have a number of programs throughout our city that's recognized in Second Chance Month. Um, so we definitely implore you to really uh, come out, take a look at it. The next slide will probably show you um, where we're located geographically. So again, we want to go where the needs are. Let's look at the next slide. So here's where our 5 reentry support centers are located, right? So we have 5. And so so what we see is most people kind of, when they exit the institutions, it seems like, they have statistic of prison exits, Cook County exits, and it's going to the southwest sides. Let's say, how do we connect with you about the housing? So yeah, so it said, how do we connect with you about the housing? So the housing piece will be with our reentry center. So definitely contact any one of these centers, and they can definitely connect you to that. they can definitely connect you to any, first do an assessment, see where you are, see what's available. Again, we do have a migrant crisis in the city of Chicago as well. That's taking up some of our beds. Uh, Not taking up some of our beds, but utilizing that space as well. So, but we do have programs that's available. We have some of our rental assistance programs with our community service centers. But again, our community service center advocates can really work with you on any housing trajectory that you have. So again, we have 5 centers. So Center for New Horizon is on 69th Street. That's in the Inglewood area. We have further south in the Roseland area. We have community assistance program, which is on 117th and Halsted. We see a lot of individuals go out to Rogers Park. So it was just out there. They just had an event on Monday. Great event they had, recognizing Second Chance Awareness Month. So that's Howard Area Community Center. That's 7648 North Paulina. We have Teamwork Inglewood, which has been around since the inception. They were one of our first reentry centers that the city of Chicago recognized and established, and that's at 63rd and Halsted. It's on the second floor, right across from Starbucks, Chipotle. It's in the U.S. Bank building. It's on the second floor. They have a great program there, and they connect you with Kennedy King College if a person wants to go to school, get their GED. They have mentoring, they have expungement, preparation, and sealment. And then our 5th reentry center, we just came on board, I think it was October of last year. It's Safer Foundation. So Safer Foundation's been around over 44 years. So they've been doing this work. So they have a location 808 South Kedzie, and it's the halfway back house side. It's on the Arlington side, right off Kedzie. So that's our 5 reentry support centers. You can contact them. The contact information is listed here, and it's open to the public. Again, you can call, you can walk in, and definitely they're there to serve you. Next slide. Yeah, this is our contact information. So definitely just housekeeping. So our deputy commissioner over our service centers, our human services and workforce services division is Mark Sanders. He's our deputy commissioner, and supervisor is Trinity Dobby. I'm a house provider. I want to take a picture of that. Oh yes, if you're a housing provider, then definitely you can reach out to me. So definitely, there's my email address there. We would like to connect with you to see how we can definitely expand some of those beds and space for these individuals to look for and to have. So definitely you can reach out to me. Again, Juan Cruz, project coordinator. Uh, you can email me at juan.cruz@cityofchicago.org. And again, uh, my colleague Rhonda Anderson is the other program coordinator. So I think that's it on the slides, but definitely we can take some questions and answer. We can take some questions from you. I'm here to answer some questions for you. Yes, I think the deck can be shared. I think this will be saved so you can see it again online through the treasurer's office, I believe, website. Yeah, I think I just answered that question. How can you be a resource? Yeah, so that's a good question, right? So we have, again, this is city funding, and so you have to be a city resident. But for our program, right? So the great thing is that the centers have multiple funding streams, right? So funding streams like we overfunding or different funding levels, different funding sources that expand the city boundaries to the county. So anybody can definitely call and ask, and then they can work with you according to whatever funding source is required for them. But for city, for definitely to be enrolled in our program, uh, you have to be a city resident. But definitely to obtain information and referrals, you don't have to be. You could be anywhere. But definitely as you get assessed, and if you want to take part in one of our 4 or 3 program models, the employment preparation and placement, transitional jobs, the industry specific, you will have to, eligibility is to be a city resident. But again, you don't have to be a city resident to call and to ask for information. And again, the centers will facilitate what funding and is appropriate, that's eligible based on their funding. It's a great question. Yeah, they can go back to that slide. So pretty much what that, yeah, the other slide, the next one. Really, this is the triages of what information is needed. So the SSI, again, you would contact one of the centers. They would do an assessment of you. They do an intake and assessment, and based on your needs, they will funnel that to the appropriate person, and which is our reentry navigators, to assist you with obtaining those. Yes, yes. You can be a sex offender, yes, or a registered sex offender. Yes. So we're not. You can have any offense. So no offense is off limit as far as getting information and routed to the right source. So that was a great question as well. Yeah. So again, I encourage everyone to really, if you know someone, if you cousin, friend, brother, sister, definitely that says that, and I hear it all the time, that there's no jobs available. Uh, they won't hire me, so you can even work for the city of Chicago. Definitely, we have programs that's working with Streets and Sand. We have programs with a great program with CTA, where they clean the buses and the rails, right? And they go on to, not everybody, but again, it's a 12-month apprenticeship program that we have with CTA, and it's been great. Since 2011, we had over 550 permanent jobs, right, from that apprenticeship program. So that's a huge number. That's a great win. We work with Streets and Sand. You might see people out in the summer that's doing vegetation removal, lot cleaning. Uh, and we have some of those folks that apply. So great. It's a great opportunity to jumpstart your career. But it's getting connected, though. So really get connected with our centers to see what's available for you. We have a lot. So your path to success is that way. So I know you've been doing it on your own, but try out our services. Definitely try out some of the city services. And we're definitely here. And if we're going to be a city that works, it's going to work for all of our residents. And we're proud of that. We're proud of the mayor that's behind this too, with our Second Chance Awareness Month. So again, the city is doing a lot of work. The treasurer's office is highlighting this as well. So again, don't think you can't get a job doing something constructive. You can definitely get connected. Don't do it on your own. You're not alone. We're here to support you. Definitely, we don't, so when you just want to be that open hand when you're ready. So definitely give us a call. And vote too. So you can vote. So some people think you can't vote in certain states you can't, but in Chicago and in Illinois you can vote. So definitely vote. Yeah. Again, this is being recorded, and you can view it, share it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Cruz. We are getting close to wrapping up the session, and just want to give all of the viewers an opportunity. If you have any last minute questions that you'd like to add to the chat area for our speaker today, please feel free to add them now. We will, once we close down this stream, this will be available on our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram channels to rebroadcast if you missed any information today. Also, if you registered for this session, you'll be receiving an email later today with a link to rebroadcast this session, along with the PowerPoint that was shared here during the session today. Those have the links included, and there's also contact information in that PowerPoint that'll be shared as well. There's another question here for you, Mr. Cruz.
You get unmuted. Yes, the specifics about voting after release. Yes, anyone that has a record, any resident in the city of Chicago can vote. There's no restrictions on voting in Illinois. Other states I've seen had some voter restrictions, but in Illinois, anybody can vote. So the specifics is really just register to vote. Definitely connect with your ward or your community. But yeah, you can vote.
Great.
Very important too. It's your civic duty. Definitely exercise your right to vote.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Cruz. We really appreciate you having the time to speak with our attendees today. We are planning on, again, this is day 3 of Money Smart Week. This is Mr. Juan Cruz, our speaker today, project coordinator at the City of Chicago Department of Family and Support Services. If you have any questions regarding today's session, you can feel free to reach out directly to Mr. Cruz. Again, we are sending contact information via email today after this session. So stand by. This is going to be available for rebroadcasting, so feel free to share it with all of your family and friends as well. And that will conclude our session today. Thank you again, Mr. Cruz, for joining us. We really appreciate you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And while everyone is here, I just want to make sure you all are aware, this is day 3 of Money Smart Week. We'll be sending out an email of all 3 of the conversations that you heard this week. So if you missed out on anything, stay tuned. We are introducing CTO's new Money Matters Institute program. If anyone on here is interested in information on credit and money management services, feel free to tap into the Chicago Treasurers Money Matters Institute program. It just recently launched, and everything is available on our website, www.chicagocitytreasurer.com/MMI. Money Matters Institute is a convenient and easy to understand financial education and wellness program. It offers wealth creation information from experts in financial services. On the screen, you will see a one-sheeter about the program, the different organizations that are involved, and subject matter experts that are involved in sharing this information throughout the year include the IRS, Huntington Bank, Wintrust, Chase. We have TransUnion sharing information and helping you through credit management. We have the Resurrection Project, Chicago-Ervin League, just to name a few. The YWCA here in the metropolitan Chicago area. So if you're interested in the program, it's a 3-step approach. Financial Fundamentals actually kicks off with 6 workshops starting April 23rd next week, all the way through June 29th. Once you've gone through that program, step 2 is called Money Mastery. That kicks off July through September. And our final program in the Money Matters Institute is our Wealth Accelerator program. And you can take advantage of that program September through November of this year. The program includes workshops in person and virtual, so you do not have to just be online. If you would like to participate in person, those are available, and this is all at no charge. Not to mention, all of our partners will be providing free one-on-one counseling. It kicks off with the Chicago-Ervin League. So again, visit www.chicagocitytreasurer.com/MMI for more details on the Money Matters Institute and how you can get involved. Again, thank you so much for joining today's Money Smart Week, day 3 with the Department of Family and Support Services. Thank you, Mr. Juan Cruz. Happy Thursday. Have a good day.